Hi, everyone. Welcome back and happy Wednesday. All right, guys. So I was just laughing with Jason. I accidentally put the wrong eye drops in my eyes. You're supposed to put them in before the contacts. So I kind of just look like still here. We have hot, messy topics. I'm so excited because originally I wanted to make this a Valley recap. You guys know that like last week we were in the Dominican Republic, and then we came back the night of the Valley, and I didn't end up doing a recap. So I messaged Ashley and Imani from Taste of Reality. Love them. Cannot wait to see them in Charleston this week. And we're going to have the best time. But I said, are you guys available? Ashley is in transit. So we have Imani, which is amazing. We always love like a one-on-one. But I said, Imani, I don't think that the Valley recap is going to be enough. Can we make it a hot, messy topics? Because I didn't do hot, messy on Monday. She's like, yeah. And I said, that's my girl. So go ahead, pop off in the comment section in the live chat. Let us know where you're watching from. Smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. And let's welcome Imani. Hello.
Hi, guys. So good to be back. Good. I'm, of course, missing Ashley because it's always so fun when we do the three of us. But I also really enjoy one-on-one time as well. So we're good.
Yes. And, you know, it's funny. I saw, guys, it was so cute. Where's my phone? I want to give a shout out because Ashley sent me this yesterday, and I thought it was the cutest thing. She met a woman named Marlene at the Bellagio who...
Shout out, Marlene.
Yeah, shout out Marlene, who said hi because she is a fan of Taste of Reality and the Addams Family. So I thought that that was really, really cool. And it's always fun to meet everybody like out in the wild, you know?
Yeah. No, it's so cool. It's happened a few times to me as well. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is so amazing. It's so fun.
Yeah. I've actually, did I tell you the story about before we jump in? I went for Father's Day. It was in Orlando, and it was with my sister and her partner, and also like Jason and my dad and my stepmom. And it was hibachi style, right? Where you sit on one side of the table. And there was this woman who was celebrating her birthday, and she came over and she just wanted to introduce herself. And she's like, Jason, I love you. Adam, you're in question. And I was like, and my family didn't know what to say. And she was like, I just think that you're so not nice to the Girardis right now with everything they're going through. And I was like, everything that they're going through, girl, this is self-inflicted.
100%. 100%.
And my stepmom looked at me and she's like, you want me to take care of this? I'm like, no, we're good. It's all good. You know?
People are very bold. We love when the nice people come up and say something. But yeah, Ashley she leaves tonight. She's on the West Coast. So she's taking a late flight into Charleston. I land Thursday morning in Charleston. My background's blurry right now because I have clothes all over my floor of outfits I'm laying out. But yeah, we're so excited. And you will be getting all the content with us and Adam. So excited to meet Jason for the first time.
Yeah.
It's a blast.
It's going to be a blast. All right, guys. Well, we have a lot as far as like the roster of things that we want to talk about today. The P. Diddy trial and highlights, the Valley recap. Andy Cohen has verbally addressed RHONY, which I'm going to play the clip we're going to talk about. Teresa Giudice is now getting accused of this MLM sort of scheme, which I do want to talk about this because I have my own ideas of what that looks like. Yeah. And of course, Teddi Mellencamp, her husband, Edwin, has filed to move forward with this divorce. But let's start with the Valley because, guys, I want to know what you think from last night's episode and what you would rate it 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. Last night's episode, Imani, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah. I would say it was not an episode that necessarily you needed to be glued to your screen the whole time. Having said that, I did enjoy seeing the Michelle. Well, not enjoy. Enjoy is a weird word. I was interested in seeing the Michelle and Jesse of it all. So that said, I would give the episode like a 6 or 7. What about you?
I think I would probably give it a 5.
Okay.
But I think, too, I guess, Jason and I were walking this morning. We were doing like our little morning walk, and he made a good point. I think I kind of thought, and I understand it's still reality TV, But I think I kind of thought going into the Valley, it was supposed to be like this more mature version where everybody was going to be a little bit more grown up. And it seems like, you know, I have a lot of friends who are in the same age range. I'm in the same age range as a lot of these people who are on the show. And like my friends have their shit together, you know?
Sure.
Like they're not just like a big shit show, but also we're not on reality TV. And seeing some of these dynamics, I just have questions for you on how you would feel in certain things. So I'm going to start with this.
Okay.
The Jesse and Michelle. You know, one, you can tell this woman is pissed.
Yeah.
And she has every right to be pissed. She kept saying something that stuck with me so hard. You spent all of our money. You spent all of our money. And I'm like, what happened? And then she like later elaborated on what that meant, saying that, you know, he boasted this like pretend lifestyle, like a facade out in Los Angeles. It's definitely keeping up with the Joneses out in LA and really burned through the money. But after she gave birth to Isabella, she was at home on bed rest, you know, and she was really enjoying the baby and she took a break from work. But at the same time, he took a break from work. So he's truly no Josh Altman, but you could see where this was like, you could see where this really like this affected her. But I guess the big problem that I have, and I'm not a parent, and I feel like we always emphasize this, especially Imani and I, we're not parents. Yes.
People love.
I'm not saying anything, and I'm not a parent, okay? But you know, when she's saying, I don't want this woman around my child because I feel like she is going to be one of many that come in and out of your life, especially if she's boasting to our friends about how she's hooking up with this guy from Baywatch and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I second that. But also I look at her with her relationship with Aaron. I'm like, neither one of you in these new relationships should have your kids.
Agreed.
Like
100%.
around them, you know?
Yes. Michelle's not wrong. And Jesse, to me, is giving very petty and immature. He's like, no, my daughter is going to be around this girl. Okay, but at what cost? At Isabella's detriment? To prove a point to Michelle, you're going to like put your daughter around all these different girls you're dating just to stick it to Michelle. My mom dated a lot, not to put my mom's business out there, but like she was single. She was not married anymore to my dad. She kept a man. Good for her. I never met those guys unless they were like very, very serious. And I think that that's healthy in those situations. Like you can talk to your daughter at a level she can understand, like mom and dad aren't together anymore. We're going to be seeing other people, whatever, if they want to have that open communication with her. But introducing Isabella to your different boyfriends and girlfriends to prove a point to the other spouse is so wrong to me.
You know, and I'm not going to, since we're putting our parents' business out there, but we're not. My parents also did not shield me from any of that. Like I knew what was going on, especially like for my mom. I used to arrange her top 8 and pick like the hottest guys. I don't know how she didn't know I was gay. And I would like change her music and I made it like Promiscuous Girl by Nelly Furtado.
So
and like
funny.
I would arrange her top 8 and be like, look at this man, look at this man. And you know, like I would help her, like I would honestly help take her photos and like engage her in getting dates. And then for my dad, he was just always married. And when he wasn't married, before he was divorced, he was, you know, in a different relationship. So my dad never really needed help in that department, but he has been married for a long time now, guys. But no, I do think, I said to Jason last night watching this, I said, if we had a kid and you brought somebody around our kid before you felt you were serious about this person and you brought them around just to get back at me.
Yes.
Like I'm going to arrange a fishing charter and nobody's ever going to see you guys again. Like that's not happening.
I think for me, again, not a parent, but I was raised by one. For me, what I would do in that situation is like, once I'm with somebody long enough that I'm like, okay, I want you to meet my child. I'm going to have a dinner with Michelle or my partner and be like, hey, I want to start bringing this guy around our child. I want you to meet him first, vet him first, just to give him the stamp. Not that I need your permission, but kind of one of those. It's just it's courtesy.
It's courtesy.
That's what I would do, especially because Isabella's so young. Now, my kids in like middle school or high school, I don't know how you navigate that. But Michelle, but she's young. Isabella's young enough where like I would want to see what person my ex-husband's dating.
I do think it's important too, because, you know, my mom had a boyfriend when I was growing up, and I had to take a bath, and my mom was doing 5 million things. She had
Mhm.
multiple jobs, and she was in the kitchen cooking, and I was taking this bath. I was really young, and I never wanted to have my face fully submerged under the water. And so
Yeah.
he took my head and held my head under the water until like I couldn't, like,
Oh
I
my
was like
God.
like
Yeah.
trying to breathe. And then as soon as I came up for air, I screamed for my mom, and she saw what was going on, and she chased him into the room. He went out the window. We never saw this guy again, only later to find out that he was shot at a gas station.
Shut
Um,
up.
no, legit, like what happened. But, you know,
Wow.
it's like you really have to be careful who you
You
bring
do.
around your family. You don't know people. And when you think you know somebody, trust me, like people are con artists, and they're really good at portraying themselves in the way that they want to be perceived, which is terrifying.
Exactly. Which
Yeah.
did you see that? I know everybody hates when we talk about Kardashians, but Khloe Kardashian said something to that point. She was like, my kids are not allowed to sleep over at anyone's house because I don't know what people have going on in their household. They may present one way, but you
Yeah.
never know how people live behind closed doors, and you really don't.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with that. My kid would not be going anywhere. I would be that parent that'd be like, if your friend wants to sleep over, they can.
Yes.
Don't touch my walls. I'm not buying your friend shit. But
100%.
you're not sleeping over anywhere, you know?
Exactly. So I don't know. I get why Michelle hates Jesse so much. And I have empathy for Jesse because it does suck if your wife cheats on you. So like I feel like we can't forget that. Like she did cheat on Jesse. That said, this hooker rumor is crazy. Jax is going on tour.
So the
Take it
hooker
back.
rumor,
Yeah.
I would be pissed about too. I think that's total defamation of somebody, especially
Mhm.
a business person, and you don't want that out there. And it's
Yeah,
reckless, even if it's a joke. For
exactly.
Toaster, Jax is going on tour. Jax had a tour booked. There have been several venues who feel like with everything that is coming out on the show, and who knows what's going to continue to come out. We haven't seen the rest of the season. I think that they felt like this is sort of a liability and that they don't want to align with them. But I don't think it's any different than James Kennedy after the DV arrest, when
Agreed.
all of the people dropped him. They're like, we don't want to support somebody who's potentially abusing a woman. Like,
Yeah.
it's not good for business, you guys.
No, question for you, Adam. Now that we're on the topic of Jax, what do you? I've seen multiple comments about him being included in a BravoCon lineup. What do you think about that?
I think it's one of those things, like, honestly, I just had this conversation with somebody 2 days ago, who is in this business and very intertwined.
Yeah.
Personally, I think that Bravo walks a fine line, like, with, why would you show us? You guys had the option of taking it off the cutting room floor. Why would you show us what happened with Kenya and Britt, with, you know, threats of pistols and fellatio
Yeah.
and all of these things?
Yeah.
But then why was James Kennedy so heavily rewarded for spitting on Kristen's door? And, like, you know, there were some physical altercations with him. A lot of people think that a lot of people speculate there were things that happened truly to Raquel's nose after she got the nose job, and why things happened.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's like, why are these people boasted out there? But it's because it's good for business, and people want to hear from those people. You know, even when Tom Sandoval was, after Scandoval, when he was going to doing his, like, Tom Sandoval and the Most Extras
Right.
performances, there were a lot of women who lined up, and I saw them where they were like, "Oh my God, Tom Sandoval!" Like, they were trying to sleep with him, and they were like, "You're amazing," you
I
know.
don't get it. I mean, and how I know, and you guys can jump me if you want, I stand beside this. How I know America hates women is because look at the backlash that Paige DeSorbo gets on the heels of Craig. People hate to see her thriving. People hate that she's booked, busy, and thriving. Look at Ariana Madix. People are like, she's so oversaturated. I don't want to see Ariana anymore. Why is she getting all these opportunities? But y'all are lining up outside of Tom Sandoval's stupid show, and you guys are big upping and happy for him.
But
That's your prerogative.
You know what I found interesting was a lot of the audience was split too, especially like specifically to Tom Sandoval. And I think that they will be at BravoCon with Jax. I think Jax being on a panel, he's reckless. You don't know what he's going to say, and he's going to give you a moment, you know? And so they get to, that moment is going to be plastered all over Page 6. It's going to be all over the internet. It's going to be
Taste of Reality.
All over Taste of Reality. It's going to be BravoCon, Jax, BravoCon.
Yeah.
And he is going to deliver that moment, but people are going to come and see him on that panel to either one, be like, oh my God, I would hook up with you, or two, to heckle the shit out of him. And that's what's going to happen.
True. To your point, Matt, Lala did say the same thing. Lala, I feel, is a hater. So that's obviously not everybody hates women, but just the, I don't know. I just noticed the tone when Ashley and I talk about Jax, like it's usually women that are coming toward us, not usually men. But that said, I think Ariana is kind of an outlier in the sense of like, I think a lot of people were over her blast, oversaturation in the media. But yeah, I don't know how I feel. I mean, to be clear, if we see Jax at BravoCon and the opportunity presents itself, we likely will be talking to him. So like, just FYI.
I also think it's about how you handle it as well. Like, I think for Ariana, yes, when she sat there at the reunion and everybody took it like, oh my God, I cannot believe you told Raquel that she's subhuman. Even that former producer who came out and said everything, like exposed the behind the scenes. I'm like, her telling her that she's subhuman after she let her live in her house, stay in the other room, invited her when she had no family, and provided like a safe space for her. That is probably she did not beat her ass. I don't know where you come from, but like a lot of times, like
get popped.
Something like, and I don't truly believe Lala is that either. I think Lala is a bubblegum gangsta.
Yeah.
But that was a moment that she got a lot of backlash. But if you look at her now moving forward, and even when she's asked things, even on Watch What Happens Live, she is very clever with her deliveries, where she is very poised, and it's almost like a royal, like where it's like a pageant girl. It's like Nia last night when she was asked about Danny, You know
what? Ariana's PR people did her exactly right. Exactly right. She's so thoughtful to your point, with her questions, like on Watch What Happens Live. I was reading between the lines, certainly, if you have reading comprehension, but she went really easy on Tom, in my opinion, and Raquel. Like, I feel like the Raquel cheating thing is so diabolical to me, because what do you mean? I'm confiding in you about I don't know if you could say like sex on here, but like, I'm confiding in you about my intimate issues, literally intimate issues with my boyfriend, and you're sleeping with him the whole time. You're staying at my house. I'm taking on a big sister role, and you're sleeping with him and telling me that to me goes beyond. Diabolical. It's diabolical. It goes beyond reality TV fun drama. Like, it's not Craig and Paige. Like, that is actual disgusting. Like, just in general, that's disgusting. And so I stand beside everything Ariana did. Call her subhuman, okay? You slept with my boyfriend. Like, what do you mean?
Boom. And, I want to also defend Nia last night, because we may have a difference of opinion here.
Okay.
But I truly didn't understand the reaction. You guys went to a vineyard. Jesse Lawley drank 2 bottles of champagne before you guys even got on the bus. He's out here standing on a main road with his finger out, literally about to get hit by multiple cars. Looks like a complete moron, dancing on the stripper pole in the Sprinter van. And everybody's drinking. Everybody's partaking. Okay. Danny went and he worked, and then he drove back, and he came and he got drunky pants. And instead of sitting there feeling like he had FOMO and trying to engage in the conversation and make an ass out of himself and his wife, he went to bed. Yes, we know. Okay, you had drinks.
Yeah.
Whatever. You got drunk. But Nia's response, that's exactly what I would want from Jason if we were on this show. I would want Jason to be like, oh, like he popped down for bed. And if people said, oh, because he's drunk, and Jason said, yeah, he got tipsy pants, so he laid down for bed. That is my partner. I don't want you to sit there and sit at the table and be like, Adam is such a piece of shit. Can you guys believe that he didn't make it to dinner? Yeah. No, you need to show a united front with your partner.
Exactly. I see both sides. I agree. Cause like Brittany's over here. Like Brittany's whole life is up for fodder right now. And Nia, you can't even say that your husband's drunk and that's why he's in the I get where Brittany's coming from with that. And that's frustrating when you are being so real and so honest. And Nia, you can't even like lean into your husband being a drunk idiot. So I received that. On the same side though, Adam, I would be exactly the way Nia is. Like, I'm not gonna let you see us slipping. What do you mean? Like, I'm gonna defend my husband.
But also to kind of, and not to bash Brittany, I do feel like Jax Taylor imploded in front of all of us and we watched this happen.
True.
And for the longest time, Brittany has defended him because it wasn't caught on camera.
That's true.
And it wasn't seen. So you also tried to, like be that partner who is, guys, he's just like right now he's in his feelings because of this. And like, that's just Jax. And like, I'm from Kentucky and everything is fine.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
You did the same thing. But now when he's imploding and NBC steps in and they're like, get your shit together. You're going to rehab or we're firing you from this show. Like, of course, that's now being documented. So you don't have a choice but to talk about it.
Yeah, I think that Nia, because she's from pageants, which makes good sense. Your whole life, when you're in the pageant sector, not that I've been in one, but I have watched Miss Congeniality. So when you're in that space, your whole vibe is curated. You're very conscious of how you're being perceived. You have to think through what you're saying. And for Nia, I feel like she's curated this life for herself with her 3 kids. I'm sorry. Yeah, 3 under 3. She's about to have 4 under 4. Like she has a certain image and vibe she likes to put off there. And so I get it. But I get how that's frustrating to Brittany. But also, Brittany, you've had over a decade to like cover for Jax. This is her 2nd season. Let her do her thing.
Yeah. And also too, I also want to defend Danny in another thing. Well, no, I don't think that you should ever touch somebody because that's consent. And Jasmine did not want to, like, she didn't want to be touched. You don't need to tell her to call you daddy. You had a drunken moment. I love that. Not saying it's right. I love the fact that you owned it. And it was up to her to decide whether or not she forgave you for that. Because if she would have told you to go piss off, then that's her prerogative. And she reserves the right to be able to respond however she wants, But then like when you went behind and Janet saw you taking a tequila shot and you didn't want to do that on camera, I feel like if I was on a reality show, there were so many times, especially when I was around Vanderpump Rules, and a lot of people don't know this, but what the producers used to do, sorry guys, I'm not trying to put you guys on blast, but it was really actually kind of fucked up. But what the producers used to do was really say, no, we don't encourage anybody to drink. We don't encourage these things. And I don't know if it's necessarily that they encouraged, but Jason would run Pump and they would have the whole cast come to Pump and they would keep all of the cast in the Vander. So it was like this, like, did you ever go to Pump?
Ashley, did I go to Pump? We did a ton of restaurants. I just don't remember which ones we went to.
Okay. So they would keep them in the Vander and Kristen Doty would come in and they would be like, Kristen would be like, you said my call time is this. You said it was 3:30. It's 3:45. Like, what is going on? They'd be like, calm down, go get a drink. She would go get a drink. She would come back. Drink would be gone. She'd be like, you said, and they'd be like, we're almost ready for you. Go get another drink. So they would get her another drink. She'd come back and be like, fuck. And they'd be like, oh, yep, we're ready for you. Cue the scene.
Yeah.
Crazy. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's also, while it's not, you're not pouring alcohol down anybody's throat, it's still slightly like, you know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's slightly encouraged.
It's slightly encouraged, but anyway.
Someone said they didn't like Brittany last episode. It was not a great episode for Brittany. I think she's jealous, which I can understand. Or it's a lot. Like you're getting these rage texts from your partner who has an addiction to pasta, who is in rehab. Your life is hell. Like she is going through it. And she wants the heat off of her. And so she's like, okay, enter Danny. He, is very liberal with the alcohol, shall we say. And so he, was acting like he was on a couples trip.
Right.
So I don't know. It wasn't the best look for Brittany, although I can empathize with her situation. But can I tell you, I was so shocked by Kristen in this episode.
Oh my God, she's so mature.
She's so mature, and she's not even pregnant yet. Because, like, I've noticed a difference in her now that she's with child. But, like, during the episode, she was so rational, so mature. She was like, Brittany, hold on a second. Like, they have so many kids. Like, they're taking a break, whatever.
Matt, I just want to kind of defend Imani in this too. It's not that you can necessarily block somebody when you share a child with them. Like, you have to have some sort of open line of communication. So while you don't want to receive the rage text, obviously those are going to pull at your heartstrings, and emotionally it's going to be conflicting for you emotionally. However, at the end of the day, they share a child. Their child has, you know, certain therapies and things like speech and stuff like that. Like, that's going on. So I think that she needs to communicate that with him. And I don't think that it's not so just like straightforward, point blank period, like just block them. It's not like it's like an ex-boyfriend. Like, same thing with Michelle. If Michelle didn't have Isabella with Jesse, she would have blocked his ass a long time ago.
100%.
You know?
He's threatening her.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh how she says that word.
Jesus. Oy, yay, yay.
Funny. Oh, can I say something really quick though?
Yeah.
Did you notice while they were in the van before it broke down, or after it broke down, Luke sprang into action without anybody being like, does anybody know how to like look underneath the trunk thing, the hood? He like immediately, Colorado boy or wherever he's from, got out, went outside, popped the trunk, was like, this is what's wrong with it, X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, that's hot. I get it, Kristen.
You know what's so funny is my dad used to, when he would come home, he would change the oil and do things to the cars. And I have a gay uncle, surprise guys, but he was adopted. He's from Costa Rica. I have a gay uncle, and anytime that anything would happen, like, he would always just be like, well, I'm going to pay to get this done. You have to pay for the service. And my dad is just like MacGyver over here. Like, if something happens, there's a leak, whatever, he'll get a ladder, he'll fix everything. And he used to make us sit down there and like, he's like, son, you need to learn how to change your oil. Like, why? You can pay somebody to do that. And I used to think like that at like 15. I'm like, Dad, I'm going to be an attorney. Well, that shit didn't happen.
Really?
But
I didn't know that about you.
yeah, I wanted to be an attorney and then a marine biologist. And somebody told me marine biologists don't make any money. So I said, attorney. And then I saw the school requirements and I was like, Gia Giudice, like, no, girl, we're out. We're going to Bravo. That's where we are.
Bravo.
Yeah. Sorry, that's
so
not
funny.
happening. But no, and you know who else? I did want to say one last thing before we wrap up the Valley. What else I think is interesting, and Jason and I were talking about this morning. We have yet to see Brock.
Hold on 1 second. People are saying your mic's cutting out. You sound fine for me, but they're saying you're going in and out.
I'm going in and out? No, I think it's...
Math said that, and then Toast. You sound fine for me, but they're saying you're going in and out.
Okay. Well, if it keeps happening... Here, hold on, guys. I'm just going to change the mic over real quick. Okay, so we're back into it. But with this situation, like, I was talking to Jason this morning and I said, you know, it's interesting because you have Brock and Sheena and Lala and Tom Schwartz all in the episode. We haven't seen them yet, but this is the 5th episode. I think what happened, especially after last night's episode, they started seeing a little bit of like, oh, this is not that exciting. We need to like call in the cavalry.
Yeah. Well, I think the Sheena integration is very seamless. Like when they called her about the tea she spilled about Jesse's girlfriend, like to me, it's very flawless. And also Ariana said the same thing. She was like, Sheena doesn't have to try hard to like go over to the Valley, whereas Lala does. So I was like, tea. I don't know. I think we're a little opposite. I'm enjoying the Valley right now. Like I mean, sure. Did I look at my phone more last episode? Yeah. But I don't mind it. But I get why producers are like, all right, Jax is not filming right now. We need to get some drama happening.
Get some okay. Well, guys, obviously we'll be back next week and we'll be covering the Valley. But in the meantime, there is so much controversy around the Real Housewives of New York. We saw Luann react. We saw Bethany Frankel react. We've seen Saida Silva say this isn't happening. Like, it's not canceled. But we also saw that from the ladies in Dubai. Talene came forward and said it's not canceled, while Caroline Brooks was like, no, it's absolutely canceled. And Andy Cohen took to Radio Andy to share this.
guess I need to say again, even though Bravo said it.
I saw it. It said going off the air is the words they used.
Well, I mean, I don't know how else to say it. We are between
They're in between seasons
on the Housewives. So, but what's so interesting is last week when I was here, the Bravo execs met with 10 potential new Real Housewives of New York. This is called the casting process between seasons.
Yeah.
And it's heavily underway, and that's why nothing has been announced. So I don't know what to say. It's really odd. It just keeps going on and on. So
Okay, so in your opinion, do you think, because personally, I feel Bravo knows they effed up.
Mm-hmm.
They effed up with this. I think Erin Leachy is great. I think that all of the women are great in their own ways, but I think that it was exactly what Bethany said. It was a very glossy, curated version of what they thought the show should be. And I don't think that worked. And I think that that's what they're doing with BPR 2.0. Do you think it will be back?
I do. I think RHONY will be back. I think it's just going to be a longer hiatus. The issue is the longer you wait, the less people are going to care. So then when it does come back and it doesn't wildly exceed everyone's expectations because you took so long, it's going to backfire.
Yeah, that makes sense. He said he just hired the first girl last night. Okay.
I wonder,
right.
I mean, someone mentioned it and we did a story on this too. I would love to see Julia Fox on RHONY because like, I feel like when I think of New York, I think of fashion. And so if they did want to go that, I see your faces like, no, if they did want to go that route, I feel like you could go more the fashion-y. I don't know what they're trying to do, but it seemed like they're kind of trying to go a little bit more fashion when they brought on Rebecca and Jenna and Bryn. I don't actually know what she does, but I don't know. I think Julia Fox is so interesting and I wouldn't be mad at her, but I feel like she'd be a little curated to your point.
I agree. And guys, moving on from that, obviously we know that the Real Housewives of New Jersey is right next door. So I saw this article on Taste of Reality where they said Teresa Giudice is involved in an affiliate marketing program with a wellness company. So the wellness company is called Make Health. If you guys are not familiar with MLMs, multi-level marketing, they're called schemes, but I actually don't understand why this is so heavily frowned upon as long as people get paid for it, because it's sort of like you're incentivized to sell the product. And the more people that you sign up to sell the product, then you get a portion of what they sell. And I don't think it's like the worst thing in the world. So I don't know why it's so controversial. Maybe it's like, as long as people are getting paid, I don't know what I'm missing here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care either. Did you ever hear about like LuLaRoe back in the day, like those leggings that a whole bunch of like moms would sell? But like a whole scandal came of it. I think the issue is that like there's a lot of it's a scam. I wish Ashley was on today because she has a more visceral reaction, I think.
Yeah, she said that's not how it works. Okay, so yeah, I'll save this one for a conversation with Ashley too, because I think I'm just trying to understand, I saw where there was that one employee who was working for the company that Whitney Rose collaborated with, and she came forward in multiple TikToks talking about how they did these retreats and they were really like super hyped up about this is how it should be and blah, 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 and whatever. And that they were going to make all of this money and that she didn't receive payouts. And if in fact that's true, then I can understand where that would feel schemish. But I guess that's the thing. It's like Ashley said, respectfully, you are misinformed. Okay, so then I'm entering into this conversation, this specific conversation, with just pure ignorance. Like, I don't know what it is, and I'm trying to understand what it is.
So I'm kind of with you there, Adam. This is maybe table this for Ashley, because for me, like, it's just not something I'm going to buy into. But I just think there's a lot of like maybe ethical issues for me. And I think when somebody endorses a product that they don't use, it's cause for pause for me. If it's like the same product, just like with a different label on and you're promoting it just to like use your name, don't love that. I feel like you lose trust and integrity with your followers, but I don't know if Teresa cares about that.
Yeah, well, and I think that that's probably the exact thing, is that I don't think that she does care about that.
No.
I think that right now, with the show being off and everything that they're sort of going through, they just are like trying to, I mean, think about it, like the debt and stuff. I think right now they're just trying to stay afloat and keep their head above water and try to figure out how to continue to pay for their lifestyle, the daughter's colleges, and everything that they have coming up on top of the tax issues. Because people always forget this too. When you have tax issues, guys, it's like a loan. It is, it's like a credit card that you're trying to pay off. Like you're kind of paying, you know, the minimum payment, but it's like, can you ever catch up? And just because it's collectively $3 million, that doesn't mean shit. Because if you don't pay it fast enough, then that interest will eat you alive.
Right.
You know? So I think that that's what they're trying to do, but who knows? This is all guessing, but speaking of who knows, let's move on to the next one. Teddi Mellencamp, who looks absolutely stunning as she is out here doing her PR and everything. I was talking to Imani about this and I said that I wasn't going to say this. It's actually, whatever, it's fine. I'm going to say it. I'm a little shocked the way that I've seen Teddi navigating lately. I'm surprised. And I remember when Imani said, you know, if you're at the point where you were near death and you had to go through all of these things, and I don't even like saying near death, that like breaks my heart. But like when you have 4 tumors in your head and like all of these other, you know, tumors in your body, and you didn't know about this and you're getting brain surgery, you don't know what the result of that is going to be. So that's a scary situation. It would be scary for anybody. And I'm sort of shocked how much more on top of what she was before, aggressively assertive she is with her opinions. And she's just like, you. And I don't necessarily think that that would be my approach. However, I have not walked in her shoes, so I don't know. But her husband, Edwin, did just refile to proceed with the divorce. And I saw where a lot of fans were just totally taken aback by that, thinking that this is complete garbage. And I disagree with that. But what is your, like, him, does that bother you that he decided to proceed now?
No, because to me, they were having issues prior to Teddi's diagnosis. Now, I understand that brain tumors alter how people react. I have seen that data. So maybe she wouldn't have cheated if she didn't have the brain tumors. I don't know that. Nobody knows that. But I think he has stuck beside Teddi through this situation. His wife cheated on him. Like, that sucks. But he is still holding it down. From what I've seen on social media and from what Teddi has said on social media, like, he has been a really great partner through this. So I don't blame him for continuing the divorce. You weren't happy. You are still stuck beside her and you're still being a good supportive partner. But I think he's okay to proceed with the divorce.
I do too, because I kind of feel like, you know, in the time of need, you look at this person, like, I sort of wish like Jesse and Jax from the Valley would also treat the mother of their children like this. You know, through a time where it's a very tumultuous time, this divorce is very public. The cheating scandal, very public. All of this stuff is coming out, and you tabled all of that, and you were right by her side through the brain surgery. And you guys decided to go back under the same roof and really be there to help and aid in her recovery. Now she is going through the recovery process, but she got to ring the bell, you know? And so she is coming out on the other side, which is incredible. That is all anybody would wish for Teddi. However, now I think that he has fulfilled that obligation of just being a good human and a loving, like, it's like, I loved you. We have babies. You gave me like the best gifts in the world.
Exactly.
And I want to see you healthy, and I'm going to be there for you if you ever need me. However, I don't want to live the rest of my life with you. And I think both things can be true at the same time.
100%. I think Edwin handled it exactly right.
Yeah.
At least from what we're seeing on social media, which is all we can go off of. I think Edwin has long surpassed and fulfilled his duties of A, being a good person, and B, being the father of their 3 children, young kids navigating this. I also agree. I think Teddi's definitely getting back to her roots. I can't say I would make the same exact decisions that she's making by way of like her vitriol towards them. But again, I've never been in that situation before, and I know she has to pay bills, so
Yeah,
whatever
exactly.
to do to pay the bills. But I feel like I wouldn't want to consume a lot of toxicity because you know how bad that is for your body. But
I think that's a great way to put it. Yeah,
right?
I concur.
Okay.
And then on top of that, you know, she had, if you guys are not familiar with this, Teddi had an employee. She had multiple employees, many of them who were white employees. And I believe this woman is Hispanic.
That's what I read. Yeah.
Yeah. And she ended up filing a $2 million lawsuit for wrongful termination and for the mistreatment of her in the space of where she was working for Teddi. And she feels like she was treated a certain way, talked to a certain way, as opposed to her peers. And that is why she filed this $2 million lawsuit. Now, of course, Teddi has come forward and said that is not true and none of this is true. And clearly she's going to fight this. She's not just going to pay this woman out $2 million.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I'm not going to speculate. I do think that Teddi is very assertive in her opinions and things. And sometimes I think that when she's on a high, she is on a high, and she's probably a force to be around, especially if you're within her own home. And I am curious, because I'm not saying this woman is right by any means. I'm curious to see how that plays out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can't imagine working under Teddi, especially when she was like pinnacle of health. Like she's very strict, very structured, very regimented. And I bet she probably was very enforceful with her staff or her staff, which I can imagine. So I don't know, we can't really speculate, but I could imagine it would be difficult to work under her. I imagine it'd be difficult to work under Sutton and anyone maybe in Beverly Hills or LA area.
Avi, we're sending that out to you, Avi.
Avi, you should be the guest bartender on Watch What Happens Live.
Avi, you can come over to Taste of Reality and start just...
Actually, Avi, slide in our DMs. We will tell your story, King. Let us tell your story.
There you go.
Yeah,
See,
or maybe he can hop on one of these lives with us.
I don't think you're going to find Avi in Charleston, but you know, it's okay.
You know what? We're putting it out there.
Can you imagine you go to Republic and it's like the table next to you, you're like, oh my God, Avi.
Avi, what? Come over here. We have to talk.
Ashley will be like, Avi, get over here right now. We have some
No, Ashley will be pulling out her laptop at Republic. Okay, Avi, let's begin transcribing.
She's like, guys, can you just get a bottle of Prosecco, a bottle of tequila, all of the juices, and Avi, so spilled the tea, girl. Like, what is going on?
Avi, let it out, honey. Put it in the book.
Put it in the book. Yes, exactly. All right. So as we move forward too, guys, I know that today is day 3 of the Diddy trial. This one has been absolutely insane. I talked to Jason a little bit about it yesterday morning, and it was like we first woke up and I was talking to him about the trial, and he's like, I don't care about that. This is not how I'm starting my day. And I was like, I'm calling my mom. So then I called my mom and I was like, girl, get this. And I was just like spilling the tea of everything that was happening. But if you guys are not aware of, obviously currently it is happening right now, day 3.
Yeah.
But as of yesterday, a lot has come out. There was a male escort who came forward and said that he was paid to urinate in Cassie's mouth to the point that she choked. And also that all of the disgusting. And that all of this was heavily documented and it was on video, used as a tool, is what they're alleging, used as a tool to potentially embarrass you if you ever decide to go against the family. Yeah. And Cassie came out and she testified yesterday. I think that she's still testifying today. she's 8 months pregnant, guys. I feel so bad for this woman.
So
And
bad.
her husband's in the courtroom, which also makes it probably horrific for him to listen to.
Yeah.
And you know, like, of course, we saw the video of him. I think it was at the Gramercy Park Hotel where he was dragging her. And
was it like by the elevators or something?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that video. Heartbreaking.
And an LAPD officer also testified saying, you know, when all of this happened, I went back into the room and I went to check on her, and she was sitting there with a hood over her head and next to like a broken vase of flowers. And she was sitting there just kind of like crying, but she had her head down. And Diddy threw a big bag of money at him and said, pretty much, shut the fuck up. And like, this never happened. I'm curious how this is going to pan out, because I saw where some court reporters this morning were talking about it, and they were not biased in any way. And they were saying, you know, as far as like the defense goes for Diddy, it's really heavily leaning into a lot of these acts were purely sexual, and that is up to you. Whatever you do behind closed doors, if you do like this like kinky weird shit, whatever you do, that is you guys doing that. That is not a crime. A crime obviously is domestic violence. And she did say on the stand too that she loved this man and that she would really like do anything for him. And I think that they're trying to use that against her as if she is a woman sort of like scorned. And I'm like, when I'm watching it, I'm like, a woman scorned. What?
I guess my question is, though, to your point, I guess there is no regulation on like kink stuff, but I don't know. I guess that would be the defense that Diddy's defense took. I can't imagine him having much of one, though.
Well, and you know, I get to where, you know, if you go back and watch the documentary when all of this was happening before the trial, one of his assistants was in the documentary, and Diddy said, "I need to know that I trust you." So the assistant alleged that Diddy made him sleep with one of the females, and he got to record it as a way of being like, this is how I know that you're not going to go against me, because if you do, this will come out. You're a married man, and it'll be out there. So this is the way that I'm going to know that I trust you. And Jason and I were having this conversation this morning because Jason said that's blackmail. And I said, right, it is. But then also I'm thinking in the mind of the attorney that I never got to be. And I'm like, well, he did say if it's an act that you don't want to do, there is the door. If you want to prove your loyalty and the fact that I can trust you, this is what I need you to do. And the assistant went ahead and did it. So you were provided with two options and you moved forward with it. And I told Jason, I said, no, in no way do I think that that's right or okay in any manner. However, I do feel like the defense is going to play like, well, you had an option.
Right. I don't know. I mean, God, I can't imagine the mental toll that all of this took for Cassie, and being 8 months pregnant and having to relive all of these things. To your point about having her husband in the room, I bet they both have had to work through a lot of things together for what Diddy did to her. And I just wish her nothing but an abundance of peace and comfort. And I hope this baby doesn't feel any of this trauma. This situation just really sucks. It really does for her. And what do you think the resolve is going to be on Diddy's end? Like, what do you think is going to be the resolve?
You know, the thing is if it comes out that it was domestic violence, I think that he'll get time served. But right now he's looking at 15 years to life in prison, but they haven't really gotten to the trafficking of it all or the racketeering charges. Yeah. And that's where people are like, okay, well, this is obviously a massive issue.
Right.
This cannot happen. But if in fact there were minors involved and there were these like freak off parties where people who were not of age or like the age of consent, those people were involved and that they were used as tools or party favors, yeah, then I think you should go to prison.
Agreed. But Adrian, that's a good point.
What did Adrian say? Hold on, let me see. That's like saying every woman in a domestic abusive situation had an option, so that's tough. Yeah, well, and that's the thing too, is I feel like I don't truly think that, to be fair, I don't think Cassie felt like she had a way out. I think that she felt like she was sort of like a prisoner in that home. And I think that she was very young and heavily influenced. I think that she was incredibly talented, and she is incredibly talented.
Yeah.
And I think that this whole career in her life was held over her head. Like, if you want this, you need to do what I say. And if you don't, I will make sure that you never work in this town ever.
That's so true. Diddy is so connected to music, and that's what obviously Cassie was, a singer. So oh God, it's like Harvey Weinstein then, you know, the casting couches, like people feel like they have, if they want to make it in this industry so bad, you know, how much are you willing to pay for all of your dreams? You know, I mean, that's just like the tale as old as time in Hollywood, and the more sinister things that they say actually happens behind the scenes, which I can't even open my naive mind up to that, to think that like some of my favorite actors have done some horrible, heinous things to whatever. Like, I don't even want to think about that. But Justin Bieber, I pray for him. Like, I can't, oh gosh, he's so troubled, and he was under P. Diddy a lot. So I'm just, I can't. My fear is that Diddy's not going to be charged for anything relating to Cassie, and her opening up all these things is like going to be in vain almost. I feel like, I don't know, because how do you argue what someone did behind closed doors, like in the bedroom?
Well, and also, I think personally, I think that he has heavy connections. And I feel like if these tapes do in fact exist, I think that there were probably phone calls and there were things that were said to make sure that those tapes never see the light of day, and they cannot be used as evidence unless I'm wrong, and I could be wrong, and they could be potentially used as evidence in this trial. I don't know. But all in all, this is just incredibly disturbing, I think is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Like, I actually don't know. Do I think that he will serve time? I think that's the best question, because you see so many of these people who are in these crazy positions of power and they just get to walk.
Yeah.
You know, so it's, by the way, trigger warning, guys. Sorry, I should have said that at the beginning.
100%
But
trigger warning. Do you want to move on to a more light topic, like Kim Kardashian being in Paris for that trial?
Can I just pull up guys, if you did not see this real quick? Oh yeah, that's so much lighter. Can I just pull up this photo real quick of this woman? Like, what the hell? Like, what an FU that she did with her outfit. So if you guys aren't aware, Kim Kardashian, this happened years ago. She was in Paris.
2019,
what? 2019?
I think it was 20. It's been 9 years since it happened, whatever that timeline is.
Yeah. Okay. So this a while back. And there were so many people like Howard Stern and a ton of people who were just saying this is a massive publicity stunt. Well, she was vindicated because it was not a publicity stunt.
2016.
These people came in and she had her main bodyguard accompany her sisters out. I think it was Courtney and Kendall, who went out on the town that night. And these people came in and they held up the hotel, pretty much went into the room. They tied her up and they stole her jewels. And I think that they were known as, like, it was either the Pink Panthers or the Panthers or something like that. Yeah. And after that, she testified and said that she did truly believe that she was not going to see another day after that day. And, you know, she also said in multiple interviews, like, the jewelry and all of that, I don't care about that stuff anymore. I'm not going to go out and wear that stuff. And then she shows up with a $3.5 million necklace on. Obviously, she has hundreds of thousands of dollars in her ear. And this doesn't even showcase the ring that she bought with the insurance money that was an even bigger ring than the engagement ring that Kanye gave her, which was also, it was a 22 karat diamond worth $3 million. So she showed up, testified in front of all of these people, and looked at the people who did this to her. And she was like, look at me now.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I remember I used to watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians a lot. I haven't watched the Kardashians on Hulu, like, besides the first season they did. But anyways, that literally altered Kim Kardashian. Like, they're like Kim pre-robbery in Paris and Kim post-robbery, completely different person. I think this was the onset likely for her anxieties that she has now. I mean, she might have had it before, but I just remember her saying how much that changed her. I can't imagine pleading and begging for your life to be spared. When you have kids, I think she had North at that time. Maybe she didn't have children at that, but regardless.
No, she had North.
She had North. Okay. Yeah, no, that's scary. That's really scary. Also, people kept saying something looks different about Kim in these photos. I agree, and I can't put my finger on it. She looks different to me. That is Chris. Yeah.
That's probably Dr. Diamond. So, but for this specific situation with Kim, I think that truly, like, this was a horrific situation. And honestly, I don't know if you ever saw this, but one of the guys who contributed in doing this to Kim wrote a tell-all about it, about how they did it.
About that. Yeah.
And then he was arguing because Kris Jenner was trying to have this book like shut down.
Yeah.
And he was arguing, no, this is like sort of like my freedom of speech. I'm telling my story.
Right.
And she was like, you're not going to monetize off of what you did to my daughter. And if Kris does get that book off the shelves and like make sure that it doesn't see the light of day, good for her.
Mm-hmm.
That is horrific.
Horrific. I can't imagine that. But I asked the same question online. I'm like, why did it take 9 years to have this go to trial? But I guess they were like, because it happened in Paris. Obviously, the laws are different there than they are here in the States. But I thought it was interesting that it took so long for her to testify on the trial.
Well, I think they needed to find out everybody who was involved. And then I'm sure like once they started finding the guys, I feel like they were probably like, okay, who else was involved? If you want not immunity, but a lesser sentence, then you need to cooperate with us. So tell us all of the guys, all of the people who were involved in the making of this movie, you know?
Yeah. And someone said probably COVID. Good point. I forgot.
Yeah. And that too. Yeah. I mean, it really is. It is wild. I see what you guys are saying too. Seraphos, who said, why did it take 9 years to go to trial? Yeah. I mean,
one of the accomplices, or maybe the main guy recently, I don't know if it was self-inflicted, but he recently passed. One of the people connected to that case. So I don't know if he was the head honcho or what, but either which way, I cannot imagine that. I can't imagine the PTSD.
It's kind of like there were two key witnesses who have gone MIA in the Diddy trial. So there was supposed to be 20. I think there's 18 now.
Yeah.
And it's like, what happened to you guys?
Yeah,
that's paid off. Did you disappear? Like, did something happen? What happened?
Yeah, what happened? I don't know. I mean, I would be afraid. I like to be a witness.
Yeah. Stephanie said, out wearing flashy jewelry again, I'd be traumatized to wear any of it. I'm willing to bet you guys that this woman did not show up with any less than like at least 6 or 7 armed security men, making sure that they were stationed outside of not only her hotel, but also her room, that they had no access to her. I'm willing to bet that, you know? Yeah.
From the clips I've seen of her entering the courthouse, like she is proper. She might as well have a Secret Service. She is like properly bodyguarded up. I can't say that I would have made that same decision to wear a whole bunch of jewels to court. I feel like I personally, I don't know. Maybe I don't think I would have done that, but I get her point in taking her power back, because after it initially happened, I don't think Kim wore any real jewelry. I'm pretty sure she only wore replicas or something of her like expensive jewelry, and then she had the rest in like a safety deposit box so that she could still wear some of her stuff. I want to say she had that, but maybe I'm wrong. But
you know what's wild too is she's an art collector in the sense that she collects jewelry and bids on things that, like Princess Diana, she has a necklace from. And between her and Kanye alone has over 32 warehouses that look like legitimate Costco's.
Right.
all of his stuff. It's like his archival.
Yeah.
It's everything that like his jewelry, all of the things. And these places are like guarded. And
Yeah.
then she has probably 20 something plus, her own. And all of that, of course, is going to go to the kids.
Right.
But like, yeah. And I understand what the statement was. The statement was, you thought you got my ass. Well, here I am.
Exactly.
And I don't think that it was anything but that, but I think that she wanted to go in and make a statement and show like,
and she did.
and she did. But yeah, I mean, I get so much shit on this, Imani, especially like on here,
Sure.
where people are like, Adam, we don't like the Kardashians. I'm so infatuated with the Kardashians because the business sense, especially of Kris Jenner and how she turned a family of just truly, there wasn't some crazy talent here. It's not like you were Venus or Serena Williams. You're not like Messi playing soccer. You're not Kobe Bryant. You're not, but you turn this family into a reality TV billion-dollar empire, which is just fascinating. So, I mean, I love business, you guys. And that's why when I watch stuff like this, I'm like, yeah, this is why. Listen, do I need to watch the show and watch them shake their fucking salads and be like, my God, this is beyond. This is so beyond. It's so beyond. It's like,
no, I agree. I don't know. I always said, like, those questions where people are like, if you could have dinner with like 10 people or whatever, living or dead, who would you pick? I've always said Kris Jenner, not because I necessarily idolize the Kardashians, but she did that. Like when I think of powerful businesswomen, I think of I think of Kris Jenner because she literally created this empire. You think Kim did that? That was Kris. Kris was behind the scenes. I also would love to talk with Taylor Swift. Love her or hate her, she's an iconic businesswoman. So like, I would just love to pick their brains. Like, oh my gosh, their wealth of marketing knowledge, and you can't knock that. You cannot knock Kris's hustle. You can like her family or not, can't knock it.
You know what's crazy too? A lot of people look at this, like if you look at the world population of 8 billion people, right? And you look at Jeff Bezos alone, that's not a Saudi prince. It's not one of like, he didn't come from like the world's richest family. He's not Elon Musk. Elon Musk doesn't have as much money as Jeff Bezos, but even ChatGPT it's estimated to be worth an AI over 750 billion. Jeff Bezos alone is worth 223 billion. If he literally just gave, like $1 million to 8 billion people, can you imagine? It's like, that's insanity.
I mean, whenever people contextualize how much $1 billion is, it blows my mind. Like you could give all of us like $1 million and it wouldn't be a drop in the bucket.
It wouldn't be a drop in the bucket, but for so many people, it'd be like, oh my God, especially, like we just went to the Dominican Republic. Right. And I was saying to Jason, because there was a whole staff for the house and I saw like the living quarters. And for me, like, it was interesting to meet the people who were in the house, but I just really I chilled with like the people who were working the house and, kind of just like understanding like, okay, this is life. And they were so happy and just content and life over in this specific situation that I was in. It was very simplistic. And it was interesting to see like, you guys are just the happiest, specifically in this situation, the happiest people that I've ever met. And just even grateful for any little thing. And then you go over to other people who it's like, who are so greedy and who just enough is never enough. So it really is, it's wild. It's wild.
It's wild. Not to, I'm not defending Diddy at all. Make that be clear. However, I live in Florida and I live in kind of like a wealthier area. And so we have a ton of country clubs. And one of my good friends worked in one for many, many years. And she was like, the richest people are so weird because they are bored. Like you have access to so much money. You've been there, traveled there, bought that. So now some weirder people are the wealthiest people. They get into just like really scary and odd hobbies because nothing excites them anymore. So if I'm like looking at the ethos or the I feel like that could probably be a defense for Diddy's counsel. You know, it's like when you have access to every single thing in the world, you've tried everything, you've explored everywhere, you've traveled everywhere, money's not an issue. What's next?
Yeah. What's next?
So that was something that like my friend would tell me working in the country club. And she was like, some people who have like just stupid money are so freaking weird. And they ask for the weirdest things. Not all of them, certainly, but there's a level of, I don't know, when you have access to everything, you tend to maybe sell your soul. I don't know, but I'll say that about people with tons of money.
We're here to say that that's not us.
That's not us. And be clear, if ever millions of dollars was deposited into my account, I'm a same Imani. I'm just happier.
Yeah. I would just be like, oh my God, that's so crazy. Taxes who? Hey, IRS, like,
you guys pay taxes?
You get $1 million. You get $1 million. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but life is crazy. Sometimes, you know what? Who said it? More money, more problems.
I mean, I'm not arguing it. But
literally.
with that, guys, oh, wait, go ahead.
No, I was just saying literally.
Oh, with that, guys, I did want to say too, like you guys know, I've said this multiple times, but Jason and I are going to get to finally meet Imani, and Jason gets to finally meet Ashley. So this is going to be a very, very fun weekend. I cannot wait. Lots of things planned, and also they have a lot to celebrate. Taste of Reality is absolutely killing it on all platforms. And if you guys are not in the know and you're brand new over here to the Up and Adams family, thank you so much for joining us. By the way, all of you Rose Forever winners, we did send the emails out. I did want to say that all 3 people who won the bouquets, they did collect. So I think that that's amazing. And I just asked that they send us photos. That way we can promote even further for Rose Forever. But if you want to be in the know, especially while Ashley is traveling, or like what she said on here, that she's going to the gym and Imani's going to be traveling, then all you have to do is go check out Taste of Reality. Imani, if they don't know, let them know.
Yeah, so if you guys want to follow along with us, we are on tasteofreality.com reporting on all the fun, oh my God, I just went back into my other job. Reporting on all the Taste of Reality pop culture things, good grief. We have discussion posts where you can watch live. You can see the Valley one popped off yesterday. Below Deck, Love Hotel is popping off too. So it's a great opportunity to watch the show and connect with other Bravo lovers in the comments. And we will be posting here from our trip as well. But if you're wanting more real-time updates, be sure to follow us on Instagram. We are going to be posting up a storm, especially with Adam and all the boots on the ground coverage in Charleston. And we're also going to New York. Stay tuned for that. So yeah, give us a follow, taste_of_reality on Instagram. And then also we'll be making tons of TikToks as well. Same username. You'll find us if you just type in Taste of Reality on TikTok.
Oh, oh God, it just like went right on. Can you share what you're going to New York for yet or no?
Yeah, we can say it. So Ashley and I purchased tickets to the Summer House finale party. So that's on May 20th. So we get to watch it a day early. So Ashley and I will be in New York City for that. So we're super excited. So we're going to fly from Charleston straight to New York City. Ashley's staying an extra day and watching a Broadway show. I have to get home because I have some other things to do, but it's going to be a really, really exciting weekend. We're going to have all of the Bravo content, Summer House, Southern Charm, Southern Hospitality. We're going to be doing it all, talking about it all, reviewing it all. So follow us for fun.
Yeah, definitely. And guys, also, I know that the roseforever.com giveaway is done as of right now. However, we do definitely anticipate collaborating with them in the future. But if you guys still want, Jason has been working his ass off. It's so exciting to see, especially somebody like, clearly you guys know this is my husband. So he has been working on this and he is like pouring himself into it. And you can see where he's getting super creative with everything. And I'm having so much fun watching him every time I go upstairs. And I'm like, okay, well, I just did a video. He's like, I have to show you something. So I love that. Definitely check it out because I want all of his hard work to pay off. And in the meantime, with the Taste of Reality girls, like, again, if you don't get it over here on Up and Adam, you're definitely, if you're part of the Adams family, Marlene, thank you. You can go over to Taste of Reality because they have the Instagram, the TikTok, the tasteofreality.com. These girls are doing the damn thing. And that is exactly.
How are you? Killing it.
Yeah. And that's why, thank you. That's why we love, you know, collaborating with them. So guys, thank you so much. It is Wednesday. I see where you guys are asking me about Friday. I'm going to be in Charleston. We did have Jason post a Below Deck podcast. And then of course, this will go up on the podcast as well. I will keep you guys posted on a Friday live. I'm just here to probably say that most likely we will be running around the town on King Street with Ashley and Imani. So maybe we'll keep you posted with photos and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, we're down to film content with you. I mean, I don't know if it'll be the best sense for a live, but whatever the people want to see, I mean, we're happy to do.
We're here.
Like.
And Stephanie, no, Jesus, he's not locked in the basement. Everybody always says that. He's not, he is here.
Let him out, Adam. Let him out.
And we don't even have a basement, Stephanie. We don't have a basement, okay? But we love you guys. Smash the like button. Show some love. Go follow all of the sites, all of the things, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.